Yeah, Sumit, so good to go. We can start now.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you?
Hello, sir. Doing fine? And
I
you?
am.
Thank you.
I am fine. I am fine. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. Awesome.
Allow me 1 second, and we should be good to start. Just
Okay.
let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, what exactly we did yesterday, or what we spoke? A quick recap in 5 minutes. What are the VLANs? Again, these are going to be the interactive sessions. I want 100% participation from everyone. Simple words. If I ask you, what are the VLANs?
Logical separation of broadcast term.
Perfect. What is the maximum bits of VLAN supported?
4095.
4095 number.
Logical separation of broadcast domain. What are the maximum bits supported? 12 bits. Always pay attention to what I'm asking. When I'm asking what is the maximum bit supported, I'm not expecting you to do the calculations and give me the answer. That means how many maximum VLANs are supported?
4095 96.
as a total one. What problem is VLAN resolving?
Maintain a group security.
Reducing broadcast.
Yes. Broadcast reduction.
Segregation of data.
Segregation of users as well as data. Data/users. And it brings to another aspect, which is security. Some break about the VLAN. Can we say what are the reserve VLANs?
VLAN 4095.
And then 1002 to 1005. Standard VLANs?
1 to 1001.
And extended?
1062. 4094.
4094. What else we saw yesterday? How switch learns the MAC address? Everyone remember that?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm not going to go into the detail. Yesterday, I've already pasted that in the chat. So would be good for you to just pick up from that to find out how exactly the switch would learn the MAC address. Then we move to ports, type of ports, which are access and trunk. What is the best feature, or what is the most important feature for access port?
Untagged.
Carries untagged traffic. So this is my switch connected to a router. This would be tagged
Access.
as well as untagged,
Yeah.
or untagged, right?
Yes.
Between the switch can be tagged or untagged. So no specific definitions. Between the switches, is it compulsory that we need to have the ports to be the tag ports, trunk ports? Is that a compulsory requirement?
No.
No.
Perfect. Let's take, and then second one is a trunk, which basically is nothing but carries tag traffic. So when I say tagged, what data it tags? It basically tags the details of the VLANs, which is not present with access port. Yesterday we were discussing about some examples. Drawing another example here. This is my switch 1 connected to a PC. And this is my switch 2. This is my switch 3. Here I have, let's say, PC 2. And this is my PC 3. And this is my PC 4. PC 1 is a part of VLAN 10. PC 4 is a part of VLAN 10. PC 3 is a part of VLAN 10. And another PC, which is PC 5. Let's say it's a part of VLAN 20 and it's a part of VLAN 20. Now tell me, if you look at this scenario, what will you create between switch 1 and switch 2? Would it be trunk port or would it be access port?
Trunk.
Trunk. Anyone feels it would be access? Good. What would you create between switch 2 and switch 3?
Also trunk.
Trunk again.
Trunk again. Why? Because the VLAN 20 data and VLAN 10 data should ideally be moving till switch 3 whenever they want to communicate. All good till now? This is what we have covered till this aspect. Perfect. Moving forward. Now, what are the different type of trunking protocols? Now, ideally, if you remember yesterday, we have seen that our Ethernet frame don't have a provision to pass the VLAN details. By default, no provision. So what you would do in this case, you define the new set of feature sets, or you integrated or you bought up something with an Ethernet frame that will help you to tag the VLANs. What are those? What are the different type of trunking protocols? Do you know?
ASL.
And 81Q.
Yeah, ISL and 802.1Q, correct? These are the two trunking protocols which will help you to do the tagging of the VLANs via trunk links. Now, what are some further details about 802.1Q? How many bytes? Does anyone know?
At 4 bytes.
4 bytes. Do we know how these 4 bytes have been divided?
Yes. With TPID and VLAN.
2 bytes are TPID and the rest of the 2 bytes are TCI. Now, another new term, which is TPID. Anyone knows? Tag Protocol Identifier. What do we exactly mean by tag protocol identifier? There is a predefined value of 2 bytes, which ideally signifies that this is a 802.1Q frame. That is 0x8100. So these 2 bytes are nothing but TPID dedicated bytes, which will be always having the value 0x8100. This will ideally show you that the specific frame is 802.1Q frame. Any doubts till now? Okay, I'm considering that as a no. Moving further, what is 2 bytes or what is TCI? PCI is tag control information. Do you know how these 2 bytes are divided? 1 byte is equal to
8 bits.
8-bit.
8 bits. So 2 bytes is equal to
16
16.
bits.
16 bits. Good. So how the 16 bits are divided? So out of these, first 3 bits are dedicated for layer 2 QoS, also known as priority field. In simple words, it is going to be layer 2 QoS, which we'll be talking further when we proceed in core batch. 1 bit is for
Canonical
CFI. What is CFI? Canonical
format indicator.
format indicator. What ideally is the job of CFI?
It shows whether traffic is to be dropped or not to be dropped.
Ideally, it shows whether it is Ethernet frame or it is what format it is following, or it is token ring.
Okay.
Okay, 1 bit. 1 bit means either the bit or the flag would be either 0 or it would be 1. And rest of the 12 bits are nothing but dedicated for your VLAN IDs. Do you remember yesterday we saw it is of 12 bits, or why we say that it is 12 bits and not more than that? This is the reason. Any doubts till now?
No.
Okay, go on. Okay, this is how the frame looks like. Let me just clean this up. This is how the Ethernet, this is how the 802.1q frame looks like. So these, let me change the color. These are already present in your Ethernet frame, if you remember. This is a part of your Ethernet frame. What they did, they inserted a small tag in it. And this tag is of how many bytes? 4 bytes. And out of these 4 bytes, it is divided into these many aspects. Where this belongs to 2 bytes. This belongs to 3 bits. This is 1 bit. These are 12 bits. This is how your Ethernet frame is going to look like. Tell me, any doubts with 802.1q? Perfect.
Okay. Can you repeat again one more time, please?
Which part?
This one, the bytes. 4 bytes.
Okay. 4 bytes means how many bits?
Is half.
Well,
1 byte is equal to
12 bits.
8.
Oh,
8
bits,
bit.
sorry.
4 bytes is equal to
32 bits. 32 bits.
32.
32 bit, right? Now out of this 32 bit, 2 bytes, which is nothing but 16 bits, are dedicated for ether type.
Ethernet.
Okay. So out of 32, you have already consumed 16 bits. What you are left with is 16 bit more. Now out of this 16 bit, 3 bits are dedicated for priority, which is nothing but layer 2 QoS. 1 bit is dedicated for CFI, and rest of the 12 bits are dedicated for VLAN identifier. That's why the value what maximum numbers you can go with is 2 raised to 12, which is 4096. Vaibhav, you clear?
Yes, sir. I'm clear now. Yep.
3-bit for
Go on, Ali. Anything? You have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, next is we are going to talk about ISL, not in depth. Why not in depth? Because it is obsolete. No one uses it. Why no one uses it? Its own
Cisco
pain
proprietary.
points. And again, Cisco proprietary. Another important difference, I will come to that with respect to tagging, ideally how we call it. But let's talk about ISL first. ISL is inter switch
Which
link.
link?
So what we spoke first, 802.1q, it is open standard.
not only Cisco.
So when we say open standard, means any vendor can implement it. Juniper,
Huawei.
Cisco, Huawei,
Aruba.
Sienna, Motorola, I don't know, whoever is selling the switches.
Aruba, is that?
Extreme, Aruba, whoever. I'm just picking up some names. So open standard means anyone can do the implementation. Now with ISL, it is Cisco proprietary. It means ISL can only be executed on Cisco switches. Clear? What is the first difference between ISL and .1q?
ISL is Cisco proprietary and
Yeah.
801.1q is open standard.
Now, another important thing is ISL consumes 30 bytes of your header. And this 30 bytes is divided into two aspects or two components. One is 26 bytes of header and 4 bytes of tailor. So why tailor, why header? Anyone? Let's go to the detail of how this ISL frame format looks like. Just pick the images. Let's say this. Now, if you see here, the 26 bytes has been divided into multiple small aspects. And this basically combining together will help you to form the ISL header, which is an extra overhead 30 bytes when you are sending on a link out of total package, let's say, which is maximum of 1500 bytes, you are allocating 30 bytes out of that for your ISL. That's why ISL is having extra overhead that needs to be processed. Another important thing, ISL is what I said, the tailor is nothing but it checks the ISL CRC. So every time a switch will receive a frame, it will first go through the CRC. It will validate the integrity of the CRC, with whether it is in good shape or not. And if it is not, what it will do, it will drop the frame. And because of this, it did not really picked up, first reason, which is it was Cisco proprietary, so rest of the vendors could not really utilize it. And because it had extra overhead, it was it never became that popular. So first reason, limited to vendor or limited to Cisco. I would say limitations of ISL. And another reason I could think of is that needs extra processing. Any doubts with ISL?
No, sir.
Okay, now couple of differences between 802.1q and ISL. One we have already seen, some more. This is open standard. This is
Cisco proprietary.
now another important thing, maximum VLAN supported in 802.16 are 802.1q is 4096 VLANs, correct?
Yes,
Here, those are 1000 VLANs only. Encapsulation, we have already seen extra total, it is 30 bytes, in which 26 bytes are for header, 4 bytes are for CRC. Here, if you remember, it is only of 4 bytes and no CRC. And because there is no CRC, or there is a CRC which exists in, okay, I'm writing exactly reverse. Give me, this is wrong. So this is 4 bytes. No CRCs or no frame check sequence. And here it is 30 bytes. Out of which you have 26 for header and 4 bytes for CRC. Now, because there are no CRCs with 802.1q, it is less intensive due to the processor. Or in simple words, to the CPU of the switch. Here, situation is different. Because it is having extra bytes, the processing takes more. The processing cycles are consumed higher as compared to 802.1q.
So it's look like ISL Cisco has a high security, right?
ISL security from integrity
speed.
perspective, yes, are high. So this is, in simple words, high CPU intensive.
High CPI, exactly.
And no one wants a high CPU intensive traffic today. Another important aspect, NXOS as a platform, which is Nexus, 802.1q is supported on that. ISL is not supported on NXOS. What more? The limited models, maybe I can think of that this is supported on all Cisco and non-Cisco platforms. And this would be supported on few platforms of Cisco or few models of Cisco. Anything? Any doubts?
No.
Rest of the guys all good?
yes, all good, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you.
So,
Now, go
This
on.
ISL Cisco doesn't support any web support, right? OS.
What is your question?
I mean, like it runs on a CLI command.
The
to access-
CLI and GUI is nowhere related to how you are executing the commands.
Okay.
Okay. GUI is something which is moreover, okay. If we talk about humans, we have a photogenic memory, right? If I
Mhm.
give you 2 statements to read, and probably if I show you a diagram, it will be very easy for you to remember the diagram or maybe a good view rather than 2 lines of the statement. Correct? Now,
Yep.
that's where GUI has become more preferred option from an configuration point of view. But I'm personally not really good with GUI. I don't like GUI. That is my personal choice, or it doesn't appeal to me from GUI perspective. Eventually, at platform level or at device level, it is getting written on the Linux box. Correct? What are the score? You go to any you talk about any vendor, you talk about any platform, you talk about any product, it is moreover developed on what operating system. Either it is going to be Linux, right? The main baseline is Linux. So the command lines or the whole programming ideally would happen at how we write down the things. GUI is just a front end to push those commands via simplest way. The CLI is another option where you have to manually write down the configurations on your own, which eventually is more preferred way for me.
Yeah,
So it has,
but on CLI you have to remember all of the commands.
exactly. So that's where your experience helps and how much practice you are doing. And considering you go to all at least routers or switches vendors, they still have CLI as a preferred one. Over a period of time, it will change. But still, if you want to do troubleshooting, you need to know the commands. You really cannot rely on GUI for every single thing.
Yeah, you're right here.
And it has no relation that ISL is supported on a GUI-based platforms or CLI-based platforms. No, it is not like that. It is platform to platform basis where it is supported. Good to move further?
Yes.
Seriously again. No, it is good. So this is the topology what we had done today. What we will do is we are going to form A22.1 queue first here. And this is going to be part of VLAN 10, VLAN 20. Here I would say VLAN 10, VLAN 30. It would be VLAN 20 and maybe VLAN. What am I missing? 30. Okay. All good with topology. If you want to snip it out, you can do that. And let me snip it out. Even I want it to easily pick up the interfaces. Now going with switch 1. Yesterday we had only created 2 VLANs. We will create rest of the VLANs now. So switch 1, we had created VLAN 10 and 20. Let's validate that. To validate what are the VLANs present on the device, just have to put show VLAN, and it is showing you what are the VLANs present, which is VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. So switch 1 is good with that matter. Switch 2, we need to have VLAN 10 and VLAN 30. So if I just do show VLAN here, I have 10 and 20 configured. Maybe if I go for creating VLAN 30, and if I give the name as R&D, just for simplicity purpose, what do you see? You have an identical name, so you really cannot use the same name here. So in simple words, what we are going to use, VLAN 10 for HR, VLAN 20 for R&D, VLAN 30 for IT. We have only 3 VLANs. So I'm going to create VLAN 30 here. I've already created it. Let me give the name to that as IT. Going back to the third switch. Just do show VLAN. It is having VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. I'll create VLAN 20 here. I've already done that. I'll create VLAN 30 here. Name it as IT. If I want to remove the VLAN, all I have to say is no VLAN 10. I don't want VLAN 10 on this device. And what it will do, it will remove that VLAN. If I just do show VLAN now, it is showing you the exact VLANs what we want on this device. And by default, we have already seen yesterday that default VLAN is VLAN 1. So that's why all the ports, whatever we have on this switch are part of VLAN 1. That is the meaning of a default VLAN. Okay. And we don't have any of the ports configured in 20 and 30. That's why you are not able to see anything here on the ports level. And let me also remove the VLAN 20 from here. So all I have to do is no VLAN 20. Good. So basic configurations are done. I will configure the machines in some time, the IP addresses. Before that, I will just configure the ports. So what are my ports? My gigabit 0x0 is going to be part of VLAN 10. All I have to say is interface gig 0x0, switch port mode access. Now, what is the default mode of the switch or switch port? Is it access or is it trunk?
Access.
Perfect. So if I just show interface gig 0x0 switch port, what it is showing me? It's showing static access, right? So now all I have to say is other way why I'm saying it is default, show interface gig 0x0, it will not show you anything. There is another command to validate that, show run all. This will show you show run all command will ideally show you all the default running configuration on the switches. So if I just do show run all and begin gigabit Ethernet spelling 0x0, something is wrong. Maybe I can just start with 0x0. A lot of other commands, and here we are. So what do you see? Switch port access VLAN. So switch port is first command and it is by default. Switch port access VLAN is configured because every port is going to be part of default VLAN. So if I just go here, 0x0, if I put switch port mode access, if I just put it again, you can see it now that we have explicitly defined the mode to be access and whatever is the VLAN we want to configure, which is VLAN 10. Now, the moment I'm configuring this as a part of VLAN 10, and if I just do show VLAN, you will see 0x0 has been shifted from the main or the default VLANs to VLAN 10. Any doubts till now?
No.
Moving to next port 0x1, which is switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10. No, this should be part of VLAN 20. Now, do you know what is the command? Let's say you don't have this diagram with you. Okay, this diagram is not there and you want to find out what are the ports connected, probably what are the other network devices connected. Not mandatory that it would be firewalls where it would be by default running, but maybe switch to switch connectivity. What is the command to find out on what port we have a remote device connected?
Show
CDP
LLDP neighbor.
Show CDP neighbor.
CDP.
What is the full form of CDP?
Cisco Discovery Protocol.
But if it explicitly speaks about Cisco Discovery Protocol, would it work on a non-Cisco devices or would it
No.
work on a
No.
device where the remote connection is to a non-Cisco device?
For that, you need to fire show LLDP neighbors.
Show LLDP neighbor is for other
Vendor.
other vendors or non-Cisco vendors. So CDP is showing me the details that it is connected on 0x2. Now here I have to configure the command which is trunk between the two switches. As per our requirement, we are going to keep it as a trunk. So switch port mode trunk. It is giving me an error. Why it is giving me an error? Anyone? It is rejecting the command.
The encapsulation is auto,
So whenever we have two Cisco switches connected, they start negotiating the trunk with each other.
mm,
Do you know this happens via what logic?
Dynamic tracking protocol.
DTP, which is dynamic trunking protocol. And because it has been configured as auto, which is a default configuration, or that's how they are able to find out that there is another switch connected on the remote side, it will not allow you to make the port as trunk. So if I just show you the interface trunk, show interface trunk. No, it is not showing anything. Maybe on this platform, the behavior is different. If I just have to put show switch port trunk encapsulation. Now this is where I have an option to configure it as .1Q or configure it as ISL or configure it as whatever you want to negotiate between the two. Now, this is a first command to execute the .1Q as a trunk. And then you will define it as switch port mode trunk. What are the two commands we executed? One was encapsulation .1Q and second one was what is a mode. Now we are defining it as a trunk mode. Let's check whether it has formed the trunk now. Ideally, it won't. On one side, it has gone automatically into the trunking mode. Other side, if I check, maybe let me check on switch 2. So see, the moment you had an auto mode configured, whatever this guy proposed, whatever switch one proposed, it automatically accepted that. Why I'm saying this? What is a mode here? Auto mode. So whenever you have one mode as auto and on other side it is on. So let's say switch 1, I have configured it. I explicitly said that I want to run 802.1Q here. And the moment I say that, this guy found out, switch 2 found out that, and because it is having auto mode, it negotiated it. That's why it is N-802.1Q. Why? Because it is negotiated. This guy agreed that I'm fine to run 802.1Q with you. I'll be going into the more details of this. Now, what are the VLANs we want to permit on this? How many VLANs do we have? 2 VLANs, correct? Interface gig 0x2. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN. What this command will help you to achieve? What are the VLANs I'm going to permit on a specific trunk? Maybe I would say 10, 20,
Yeah.
right?
mhm.
And maybe 30 for just for time being. If I just do show run interface gig 0x2, what our configuration says, I am allowing what VLANs? 10, 20 and 30. And what my trunk output says, I am allowing 10, 20 and 30. So VLAN allowed on trunk are 10, 20 and 30. Now, and what is the difference between this and this? Anyone?
So this interface has like on trunk mode, it has 10, 20 and 30, but actually on the VLAN is configured only to an N20.
10 and 20. So basically, this is nothing but which are active VLANs.
Active
This
VLAN.
is active VLANs which are passing through that interface. We have not created 30 on our VLAN data. If you remember this, show VLAN, it is nothing. And what is the meaning of last statement, which is this one? VLAN in spanning tree forwarding state and not prune. We will be talking about pruning later on, but it is basically showing you the output from STP perspective, where what are the VLANs which are allowed on these two interfaces. Now, let me do something. Let me also create VLAN 30 here for test basis. And if I just do show interface trunk, what exactly it is showing? The moment we created VLAN, it has allowed it in the management domain, or basically that VLAN is active.
Part of active
Yeah.
VLAN.
Yeah. Now, if I do it again, the last one, it is not changing anything. Why it is not changing anything?
Because we didn't allow in a spanning tree protocol. Might
Let's
be.
check out.
VLAN 30.
It is allowed.
It is allowed. Okay.
I'm showing the output again, and it has come up now. So the transition, what it took, the basic transition, that's where
60
it is. Sorry,
Oh, 60 seconds is that
we'll come to that aspects.
okay.
Don't worry about, that disable listening, blocking listening,
Mhm.
learning, forwarding. We'll come to
Mhm.
that. So
Okay.
if STP we are not touching now. So this is
Mhm.
where it is now allowing, and it has not been
Yeah, now,
pruned
yeah.
anywhere. So
Now
it
it's
took
allowing.
its own time to proceed further, go through different STP states, and it has
Mhm.
gone to that state now.
Mhm.
Any doubts with this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now we will be going on second switch, and we will be configuring here what are the VLANs we want to, what are the ports we want to configure. The port what we have here is to show CDP neighbor. It is switch 1 is connected to 0x3. So interface gig 0x3, switch port trunk encapsulation .1q.
One-
And switch port mode is going to be trunk. And what are the VLANs I'm going to allow here? I'll remove that. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10 and 30.
30.
Let me remove it from here. Now I don't want VLAN 30 to be present. That is not required. So no VLAN 30, I've removed it from here. But if you check the trunk, it is still allowed on the port. So what I want to do, I also want to do it from the interface level. 0/2. So if I just go to this, switch port trunk allowed VLAN, here is most important thing. If I just do switch port trunk allowed VLAN, maybe the most important thing with this command and
Remove.
where maximum people do the mistake is they don't add the keyword remove.
Hmm.
Okay. And if I just don't add the keyword remove, it will eventually pick up the new command, whatever we put, let's say maybe 40, for example. So what will happen? Do show interface trunk. It is only permitting VLAN 40. 10, 20 are removed. So another important thing what you have to keep in mind is it totally depends on what command you are using. If you are explicitly saying switch port trunk allowed VLAN, it will not add VLAN to the list, existing list. It will just override the details. So because we have written down this as 40, the previous output, if you see here, which was 10, 20, 30, they are removed, which we don't want. If I just want to add our existing VLANs, which is switch port trunk allowed VLAN add, what VLANs you want to add, maybe 10 and 20. If I just do this, now it is saying that 10 and 20 is added, but there is no requirement for the switch to have VLAN 40 present. If I just do this, all I have to say is switch port trunk allowed VLAN remove. So remove will ideally help you to remove the specific VLAN. And this is my final outcome where I am only allowing VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. All clear with this?
Yes, sir.
This is good. And let me go on switch 2 where I have done it. Sure. Now tell me on switch 2, I'm bringing up the topology or basically the snip. What are the VLANs that ideally I should be allowing between switch 1 and switch 2?
VLAN 10.
Okay. Think about your overall diagram perspective or overall topology perspective. What are the VLANs I should be adding?
So 10, 20, 30, all.
All of them.
All 10, 20,
All.
30.
10, 20, 30, all should be added. Why? Because this guy, this VLAN 10, the machine present over here needs to talk to a machine present over here. So we should be ideally allowing all. This is where you need to have a careful consideration while you are doing the configurations. So on switch 2, I need to add VLAN 20 also. So first interface gig 0x3, switch port trunk allowed VLAN add 20. I've done it. But it is not permitted. I have not created the VLAN over here. Okay. Do you remember we have removed VLAN 20 from here?
Yes, sir.
Now we'll keep it this way, same way. We will not change it. Okay. Now we are going to configure ISL between switch 2 and switch 3. And let's see what happens. Here I'm going to configure ISL. Before that, I will just quickly configure these 2 ports. Interface gig 0x0 is going to be part of VLAN 10 and 0x1 is going to be part of 30. So this is configured. And I will configure. Now, if I just do show interface trunk, my trunk only have 1 port, which is 0x3. If I go back to the diagram, my 0x2 is still not part of the trunk mode. If I just do 0x2, switch port trunk encapsulation ISL, I've just done it. And if I just go and check on switch 3, let's see what is happening. Show interface trunk, there is nothing negotiated. If I just do it here, show interface trunk, and once 0x3 is not added to that, 0x2 is not added to that. So this is another difference what you are able to see with 802.1q versus ISL. Maybe if I just go this, switch port trunk encapsulation is ISL. And if I maybe put switch port mode trunk, let's see after that. Now here I am running on as a mode and encapsulation has gone to ISL. If I go on switch 3, the auto negotiation has worked without any issues. So this is how even ISL and 802.1q will negotiate the behavior. And if you check the default output, because I have not explicitly said what are the VLANs I'm going to allow, it is saying that I am allowing all VLANs on gigabit 0x2. So this is 1-4094. It means all VLANs are allowed on it. Is this good?
Sir, can I ask you one question?
Hmm.
So, as you said earlier, like ISR only support till 1000 VLAN. Is that true?
That's right. Yeah. So allowing the VLANs is one thing. Actual passing the data is another thing.
Okay.
This is a
Okay.
parser or the output what you ideally would see in maximum platforms. So in simple words, we have seen this with numerous platforms where even if the command is working, okay, the effect will not be there.
Okay.
Okay, so passing command wise things are different. Actual effect is different.
Mhm.
Going back to switch 3,
Okay, thank you.
switch port trunk encapsulation is ISL and switch port mode is trunk.
Trunk.
And maybe I don't want to allow any VLANs. That is fine. So show interface trunk. I'll not make any changes with whatever I'm doing. Now last switch, which is 0 by 0, I just have to make them 20 and interface gig 0 by 1, which is access VLAN 30. All the switch configurations are done. Now, all we have to do is test the communication between the different switches. So Windows 4 or this machine number 4 should be able to talk to machine number 6. So let's configure them in same subnet. Now, another important question. Will two different subnets talk to each other in this case? Let me write down more details. VLAN 10. $20. $30. This is going to be part of 10. This is going to be part of 10. This is going to be part of 20, and this is going to be part of 20. Okay, so what we have to do is we just have to put VLAN 10. Now, another question. If I put Windows 4 and Windows 5 in same subnet, will they talk?
Yes.
Sure.
If in the same subnet, then definitely they will talk each other, right? To switch one.
No, but they are different VLANs.
They are a part of different broadcast domain. So how they will talk?
Yeah.
They will never talk.
Vaibhav, you clear?
Yes.
So Windows 4, maybe I'll just configure IP address quickly. $10.1.1.1. Do I need a default gateway for this communication or for this topology?
No.
No.
Good. No, we don't need. Default gateway is required whenever we will talk in different subnets. So this is Windows 6. Let it pop up. I'll also open Windows 5. And Windows 8. Windows 6 is here. We just go to this machine, and if I try to bring 10.1.1.4,
It will ping.
ping is working.
Yep, it will ping. Yeah.
So these two guys are able to talk to each other. Windows 4 and Windows 10, we are good. Now let's say Windows 5 and Windows 8. Windows 5. .1.1.5, easy to remember. And Windows 8. .1.1.8. And if I try to ping now to 20.1.1.5, the ping is not working. Anyone knows? Remember? Or maybe if I start from Windows 5 and if I try to ping Windows 8, the communication is not happening. And even why this is not, they are not able to communicate?
So because of two different trunking protocols.
Okay. What any other reason? So this is where you should be able to bring the OSI layer in front of you. What exactly? So first, ping works at what layer?
Hmm. Network layer.
ICMP works at network layer, right?
Yep. Yep.
Now, network layer means IPv4 or IPv6, correct? ICMP is just a payload which is added in IPv4. So it would be moreover for source IP and destination IP.
Yep.
So this is where we will talk about now how exactly the packet walk ideally we should be doing. So this is my network layer. Source IP is 10 dot, no, source IP is going to be 20.1.1.5. I am talking from Windows 5 perspective. What is going to be destination IP?
20.1.8.
1.1.8. Now what a machine would do, suppose this, they know that they want to reach to destination IP 20.1.1.8. What they will do?
So they will follow the policy. I mean, yesterday we talked about this thing.
First of all, layer 3 is done. They created the packet. Now this is
Yep.
moreover about an encapsulation process. Starts from top to bottom. What
Yep.
will happen after network layer?
The
What?
data link,
Data link.
MAC address.
So they also need to know what is source MAC and destination MAC, correct? Let's assume source MAC is, now it is about data link. It will go to next layer, data link. What is source MAC? Maybe I would assume 5555 for simplicity. Now what is destination MAC it has to pick? Does it know?
No.
No.
So what it would do if you don't know the MAC address?
ARP.
Yes, that's why ideally there are theories or there are discussions over this that ARP ideally works at layer 2.5. Correct? What will ARP do? ARP will try to find out what is the destination IP address for 20.1.1.8? What this machine ideally would be doing? It would generate the ARP and send towards whom?
Which one?
Switch 1. What switch 1 will do? Remember yesterday's process.
Added entry in cam table.
Add the entry in cam table. For what Mac? Mac address of
555.
Windows 5. So let's quickly validate whether we know the MAC address, or it may be already expired, but we can check. What is the interface we have? 0 by 1. On 0 by 1, do I know the MAC address?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So what it did, it received the frame and switch 1 ideally. Now, does switch 1 know, because it is an ARP broadcast, what it would do? Any broadcast received from any of the port would be forwarded towards other ports, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Now, this is 10, 20, and 30. This is what we have permitted over here. On the trunk, I'll show you. $30 is not done yet. 20 is permitted.
Yes.
So what it would do, any broadcast received from Windows 5 or anywhere will be forwarded towards whom? Switch 2. So let's assume that broadcast is reaching till here. With a tag of, what will be the tag it will add?
20.
VLAN 20.
20.
Now I have to go on switch 2 and check out on gigabit 0 by 3. So show run interface gig 0 by 3. Do I have that VLAN allowed over here? Yes. So by that means on 0 by 3, did we allow? Yes, we have allowed it. Show interface trunk. Have we allowed the VLAN 20 on the interface as per the configurations?
20.
On 0 by 3 is the interface for your reference. Check
Yeah.
out VLAN allowed
Yeah.
on interface.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
20. Yeah. Yes.
10, 20, and 30. But is it active?
No.
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 So if it is not active, we'll switch to even understand what is the tag it is receiving the data with, if it don't have that database with itself.
Yeah.
Do you see here on 0 by 3, though I have permitted it, but do I have it active? Making
No.
sense?
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
just
So we have to make them active, right?
how to make it active?
To add on the by command.
Yeah, by command. What is the command?
Is for trunk allowed VLAN add 20?
That is already done. Let me show you the configuration. On 0 by 3, it is already allowed.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
But if I show you the trunk output, if I show you the output,
So
Active VLAN 20.
Can you please once again show VLAN?
yeah, I will show VLAN.
VLAN 10 and 20 is missing here.
Yeah. So if 20 is not missing, it is not going to be active. And if it is not going to be active, it will not understand that even if it is receiving the data from that VLAN, it will not be able to understand it and it will drop it.
Mhm.
Sir, can you show me IP interface brief?
Show IP interface brief. Here is the command.
No, show IP interface brief. It should be show the VLAN, right?
Show IP interface brief will not show you the VLAN. Understand, break the commands. Show, it means you have you are telling switch to show something. IP, it means it is related to layer 3. What we are talking about is layer 2. So show IP interface brief will show you the IP addresses. Show VLAN is showing you what are the VLANs present. Do we have VLAN 20 present over here?
No.
Oh,
I will just create VLAN 20. What was VLAN 20 dedicated for? R&D. Just for
and
namesake. If I do show a interface trunk now,
L,
what do you see? 0 by 3, 10, 20, 30, all are allowed now and they are active.
Yes.
Now I will go again on Windows 5 and do the ping. See if the ping is working. No, still it is not working. So let's go step by step ahead. I'll go to the next step now. My switch 1, switch 2. Switch 2 is allowed. Everything is good over here on this interface. Maybe check on switch 3 if we are missing up with something. Show interface trunk. I have all 3 VLANs active. There is no problem with it. Show VLAN brief. I have VLAN 20 configured on 0 by 0. So everything is good. Why the ping is still not working? Am I missing something? Because of trunk.
IP address has been assigned to the switch. Sorry, the PC.
Let's check that. If I'm pinging the correct IP config. I have here is 20.1.1.8, which is correct on Windows 8. And here I have IP config, which is 20.1.1.5. It is good.
Correct IP.
What could be the problem? Now, what we ideally do is, let's go step by step and try to find out whether the MAC learning is happening. Now, this is where your troubleshooting skills will get enhanced. I will check first here whether I'm learning the MAC address of Windows 8 on my 0 by 0 interface. If I just go on switch 3, this is a reverse path what I'm following. Show MAC address table. Am I learning the MAC address for 0 by 0, which is this one? This will help us to identify 50D8 0008 0000. So we are good with this. On switch 3, I'm learning the MAC address. Maybe on switch 2, am I learning the MAC address? No. Yes, I'm learning the MAC address, but I'm learning it on what VLAN? Why I'm learning it on VLAN 1? Something is missing. Why?
Sir, in the interface VLAN 20 no shut.
No, we have not created interface VLAN 20.
Sir, the packet tracer are also the same issue, sir. It should be active on that switch.
No, that is fine. This could be the problem behavior on this virtual iOS what we are using. Can quickly check it. Give me a moment. Trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30. I'm only allowing that VLAN. Show MAC address table. ISL would have its own behavior, and I am not learning that MAC address anymore. Am I learning it now? No.
No.
We can, sir, clear the MAC address table once.
No, that is fine. Not required. ISL have its own platform behavior. Again, this virtual IOS would be a problem. And we have seen it in many times. Let me try to ping again and see if it is able to generate the traffic. If not, we may have to change it. I'm just trying to generate a broadcast from Windows 5. I go to switch 2. I am not even learning that MAC address. So show interface x0/2. With ISL, you see the limitations. Maybe with this virtual IOS, it is very much possible it is not learning. Show MAC address table. So if you see, I am not learning the MAC addresses, any of the MAC addresses for Windows 8, for example, I'm not learning it here. No data from gigabit 0/2. Though I'm learning it local to switch 3, but across the devices, it is not present. So quickly, all we have to do is, for time being, I have to change it to .1Q on both sides. And see if the MAC address is learning. Show interface trunk. It has come up. And I will try to generate a broadcast now. Still not there. Why? This is good. VLAN 20. Good. I started learning. Now, do you see? It has exactly started tagging the way it should. MAC address 0008, which we configured in VLAN 20. And it is getting learned in VLAN 20. Now, this is not a problem of ISL. This is problem of what virtual IOS we are using on this specific emulator would show the behavior. If I again go to Windows 5 and the ping is working. Maybe we can run a different set of switch, maybe on IOL. It would work without any problem. I'm just going to run this. I have to connect it. Okay, export the config. Or maybe here I'll just add another iOS, which is another switch, and we will see the behavior. But eventually that is expected. The MAC learning was not happening with correct VLAN, which we don't anticipate. So let's say this is switch. These are the two switches what we have picked up. And two Windows machines. There is one question, why are we using switch port mode trunk encapsulation .1Q? So ideally, Ramesh, there are two type of trunking encapsulation or trunking protocols what we can run. And to explicitly tell which type of trunking protocol you want to use, you have to explicitly run this command. That is a basic difference. So I hope it clarifies. I have picked up these two switches and we will run ISL in between these two switches. These are different iOS. So let's see the behavior. Now these are the two switches. I'll not take the time to configure everything, just basics what we want. Interface Ethernet 0x0. Switch port trunk encapsulation is going to be ISL. Switch port mode trunk. And maybe we will configure it in VLAN 10. So interface Ethernet 0x1. And VLAN 10 is created by default. Let's validate it. Show VLAN brief. VLAN 10 is created. I'll run the same thing on another switch. Switch port trunk encapsulation is going to be ISL. And the interface what we have is 0x1. So all we have done with this new topology, new iOS, we will be running ISL in between these two switches, and we will try to make a communication. All we are using is VLAN 10. If I just go to Windows 12 and Windows 13 to configure the IP addresses. Why? Am I audible?
Yep. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Too many windows. And 1.1.1.13. Close view. As of now, we will not use them. Okay, this machine is not powering on. Okay, now it is good. Now what I will do, I will check on R11 just for naming it is R11. Then I'm learning the MAC address on Ethernet 0x1. I just go here. If I just do show MAC address table on my 0x1, I am learning it through MAC address this, which is 0x1. Can you see if, what is the behavior on ISL on this platform? And 1.1.1.12. And if I check on R10, am I learning the MAC address, which is in VLAN 10? If I check the MAC address for this machine, it is also learning to be VLAN 1. This is unexpected. Did I created it with same iOS? I run 2018 510. If I just pick up the iOS switch, 2019 0423. Could be the issue with the image. Here also we see that it is learning in VLAN 1, which is not expected. Ideally, should not learn it in VLAN 1. I'll have to check it with packet tracer. What is the behavior? Ideally, this is not an expected behavior. So probably with ISL, I will validate with packet tracer, and in my personal lab with newer iOS, what is the behavior, or are there any deviations around it? Keep that on me, and I'll update it next week with respect to the ISL behavior. Why, even if I have multiple VLANs allowed here, why it is still learning all the MAC addresses in VLAN 1? That totally defeats the purpose of what we want to achieve. It is not going to help. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is on me to find out more on packet tracer, ideally, whether the behavior is same or there are any deviations with this iOS, which is giving us an unexpected result. Go on. Any kind of doubts? This is pending on me, which I'll tell you in next lecture.
Oh, sir, show IP interface brief command will show the VLAN status, right? It's down or up.
No, that will show you the status of SVI, switch virtual interface.
Oh, okay.
Switch virtual interface is a logical L3 virtual interface which has been created on the basis of VLAN.
Okay, sir. I got you.
There's one thing like, I can't see anything like this class on my portal. So how can I watch your video? I mean, to
Gaurav, are you there? I guess Gaurav is not there. Who is your counselor? Vaibhav, is it Gaurav or someone else?
no, it's not Gaurav.
I
Who was the
believe what I remember that it takes 24 hours to upload the sessions. That's what I remember.
No, the session is fine, but I can't even see the portal. You know, like for example, I did my CCNA. There was a port. You click it and you see all the class. I can't see CCNP Encore.
Maybe that they may not have even added it. Maybe it takes some time, I guess. Have you spoken to someone from?
I did. I tried so many times, but like they say, oh, this has been already added. But yesterday I got email to click on the link for Zoom. Today is same. Right. So I got only the emails to join the class. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay. I believe let me try to inform this to Gaurav, and they can surely help you because this is beyond my control.
Is everyone have access on a portal, CCNP and Core? Or just only me?
No. I think they are not created portal. So our portal to this course. Not added.
I believe by next week it should be done. I'm not sure. I am.
And so batch timing will remain the same, like for 1 hour?
No. It is going to be 2.5 hours every Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, like it
So
will
it's
start
gonna
on
start
9
from next
PM or
week.
7 PM?
Considering we have a presentation across the globe, it is going to be 7 p.m. IST.
Okay, 7 p.m. IST.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So today is going to be 1 hour class, or like from next week is going to be 2.5 hours, right?
Today it is done. We started at 7. It is 8:25 now.
Okay. Right. So-
Anything else? Any doubts?
And one thing more, can we create a group in WhatsApp for CCNP and core? If we have any doubts, we can ask you. I know you are a working professional as well, but in my old CCNA, the sir, they create a group. So he was responding. So basically he create 2 groups, right?
Go on.
So the one group, he was like, inform like, I can't attend the class today. So today is no class, right? So he create 2 groups, basically.
Just have a word with, I'm not sure if Gaurav is joining. Let me ask him. I have messaged him and I'm expecting if he can join, he can ask all whatever doubts you have. Would be easy for
Okay.
everyone. And I believe from next week it would be more streamlined. So allow
Mhm.
some time till couple of days before which it would get streamlined. Then your rest of the aspects would be covered. Though I have messaged him, but no response yet.
But would you mind if I ask you how many months we are gonna be have these sessions? Like if
Only
is
in
there-
core, I would say 2.5.
okay,
Mhm.
and
And
NRC?
NRC is 2 months. I
So
guess.
you're gonna do the NRC after this class, or just you just finish it
Yes.
and go?
No, I will be covering NRC after this.
And
Okay.
weekends, right?
It would be weekends, yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay, sir. Okay.
so approx 4 or 5 months, 4 to 5 months.
4 to 5 months you can easily consider.
Okay, that's great, sir. That's great.
Okay. Good.
Ramesh is asking just answered how tagging work. I know partially, but still can you tell in short? VLAN tagging. Ramesh, just go through the yesterday's session and you would be able to understand that because we covered it yesterday on respect to the tagging part.
Sumit sir,
Mhm.
so as per my last batch with the CCNA Atul sir's batch, I think Atul sir has created a group in a Discord, and we were like as a part of a Discord group, and we also chat like during that time over there. So is there any like class timing changes, or is there isn't any class? He
Sorry,
used to like put
repeat your question, please. I forgot. Repeat your question. I missed.
Okay,
There was a
so
choppy voice.
regarding the WhatsApp group, the questions about WhatsApp group.
Mhm.
Last time when I used to part of Atul sir's batch, CCNA batch, he has created Discord group for the batch.
I remember. I was a part of the Discord group, but somehow it got deleted. Maybe again we should start about the Discord group, and all those things would ideally be channelized through Gaurav. So he would be
Okay.
the right person to help you on that matter.
Okay. And also as a like same, I'm also not getting that like recorded sessions in my portal. So just if Gaurav can or anyone can like just look on that.
Absolutely. Maybe
Mhm.
I can just send him your names. It would be easy for him to